Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2, and today I'm going to be giving you part 7 of What If Naruto had a new training trip partner that would change everything. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and stay tuned for a brand new episode over on Anime King 3 of What If Naruto's Betrayed by Hagoromo. And also for an anime king, I want to post a new episode of What If Naruto's Personal Train by the Kyube. So stay tuned for that and I hope you guys enjoy. And remember, if the first time you hear my voice and you're new, go ahead and check out my other two channels, Anime King and Anime King 3. All links will be down in the description, so go ahead and click that red subscribe button and join Anime King 2, and Anime King 3 and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. And yeah, without further ado, what do you say begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last time we left off, Naruto and the group returned back to Uza, as they were told the story as Obro hugged both him and Tayuya, hugging Tayuya, as her future granddaughter-in-law didn't waste time to save him. She loved her so much for that. Meanwhile, Jiraiya was feeling rather depressed, until Naruto spoke to him. After all, if he keep on worrying about things like that, he will never really move on. So with that, the group continued their training at Uza, until they decided to take Yujito and be up on their offer, as they made their way towards Kumo. The entire group went this time, along with Obro and the two twins. So with that, they arrived there as they spoke to the Raikage. They made their way. Someone in their team wanted to see how strong they were. After all, they heard that they made Killer Bee use his 8 sword style of fighting against Naruto, so she wanted to see for herself. The twins end up facing off against Toru and Amoy. They were shocked, seeing that they were just the kids, but they were able to one-up them, as Samui didn't even stand a chance against Naruto. He was able to bring her down rather easily. Yujito then came as she wanted to have her fun as well, and the way she was talking, it made her sound rather, seductive. Meanwhile, Tayuya was off with Killer Bee, as he couldn't train her in his, Kenjutsu style of fighting, as she, it didn't fit her, it didn't match her style at all. Meanwhile, Naruto and Yujito were going at it wild, as the both of them were creating sonic booms as they clashed violently. Until the battle finally came to an end. She had fun, but next time, she wanted to go all out to see how strong the both of them are, really. As Tayuya had spoken to Naruto that night. After all, she was a bit jealous. But she didn't make it known, but Naruto could tell that she was thinking about it. But she was the only one that he has eyes for. As he also told her what gave him the scar in his chest. That was when he ended up killing 35 villagers. When he was back at the village, and he decided to retaliate against them. And they ended up catching him, and they poured acid on him. She was pissed off at the villagers, as he has been through so much, yet still, he never turned to the side of darkness. The next day, as Jiraiya arrived, it has been 2 months since they had been there, as Jiraiya had went out to do some reconnaissance. As Naruto asked him about the nine-tailed fox, the half of it, as Jiraiya told him, and surprisingly, Jiraiya had the seal with the other half, so Naruto could inherit it. But that would only make the fox stronger. But Naruto wanted it, as he wanted to get stronger as well. So yeah guys, so it's basically that's what I thought. You guys can switch across to the place and check out for yourself. So what do you say begin this new episode? At the moment, a toad that Naruto has never seen before, Jiraiya summoned it. Jiraiya, this is about the second seal, not the first one, said Jiraiya. The Inji chants first, said Jiraiya, as he looked at Jiraiya and then towards Naruto. He then turned back towards Jiraiya. Are you sure? No, but he is, Jiraiya said as he pointed at Naruto. And I'm gonna trust his judgment. This isn't something that can be undone, the toad said. Once I complete the transfer, the seal will disappear. And the effects will be permanent, said Jiraiya as he turned towards Naruto fully. Are you absolutely certain? Yes, said Naruto. Then, I will begin, the toad said. The toad weaved through hand signs as Naruto bent over as he felt the shaky fusion started to burn. Are you okay? Said Jiraiya. I'm fine. Keep going, said Naruto. The next wave of pain made Naruto wounds, some of them open up as blood started to leak from his clothing. As his eyes wake wide, his blood vessels, his veins were pumping in his head. As a violent, corrosive chakra surrounded him before it was sucked inside his body. As the healing began, as Naruto mentally commanded healing to avoid most of his scars, they had been a part of him for many years now, and it would feel strange without them, a reminder of the past. But the two craters that Sasuke placed in his chest with the Chidori vanished in a second. As Naruto stood to his feet, "Whoa, I've never felt so good in my entire life," he said. "If I had the power back then, I could have obliterated Yagura with a second thought." As his hand was shaking a bit. "So everything went fine," Jiraiya said. It was time for him to find out. Drip, drip, drip. As Naruto woke up back in his mindscape, as Naruto looked forward towards Beast, Naruto was confused. He remembered that he ripped off the seal, didn't he? When he had came in here to save Tayuya. He ripped off the seal, but it was still there, and the Kyuubi was behind his cage. On top of that, there was another Kyuubi that was freed. He was right in front of him, as his fur was brown, dark brown, a deeper contrast of the orange fox that he came to see on a regular basis. The brown fox turned towards him. "Naruto, it's been a long time. 16 years. Maybe for you, Yang. But I've been stuck inside this human for that long. And let me tell you, it's not great," said the Kyuubi that was trapped behind the bars. "That's because you're trapped, Yang. You're terrible at getting what you want. You're too aggressive and just over dramatic. Not to mention your chakra is much more brutal than mine. Wait, why are there two of you? Why not just fuse into one Kyuubi?" said Naruto. "We can't. Thanks to that seal that is placed on you, my yin half is free to roam around your body at your command to strengthen your body as well as your chakra coils. In a easier terms for you to understand, you will always have a chakra cloak at any time. That's another problem. I tore the seal off. Why is it back?" Naruto asked. "Thank that Uchiha," the Yang half said. "Whatever he gave you, it was able to replace a lock back on my cage." As Naruto blinked, he was talking about Itachi. As he remembered, Itachi had given him something when he spoke to him, but it helped him. He wasn't sure how to feel about that, considering the man's history and the things that he had done. Not to mention he was a part of the Akatsuki that was trying to capture him, but he had already told him that he was on his side. Something then clicked in his mind. So, if what the Kyuubi was saying that was true, so the Yin Kyuubi, he had full control over half of his power? A small smile came on his face. It was time that he trained. Immediately. Time skip. At the moment, Killer Bee stood with the two Jinchurikis in front of him. "How would you feel to get full control over your Biju?" he said. "I think that would be nice," said Naruto. "Well, that is the entire point," said Tayuya, "of being a Jinchuriki is to get mastery over the demon. You don't get mastery," Killer Bee said. "You partner. Sometimes you can impress your Biju through the words that you say and the action that you do. Sometimes though, you have to fight. Because to some of the Biju, might is always right." "Okay, but you saw the Kyuubi use me to crash a meteor and create a mountain. How in the first Hokage name am I supposed to fight that?" said Naruto. "Easy," said Tayuya. "Don't get hit." Okay, first of all, Naruto was stopped as Yujito walked in. "I got clearance from A. We're all set to go towards Turtle Island," she said. "Turtle Island?" Tayuya said, confused. "It's a place where Kumo Jinchurikis go to control their Bijus. It was a bit of a hard sell, considering that the two of you aren't Kumo shinobis. But I have my ways," she said, with a grin on her face. "The only question is, what we will do with your siblings and your grandmother?" "They can come with us. The twins are strong in their own right. I promise. Together, they can make any one of us start to worry about making a mistake." "And alone?" she asks. "Alone they are probably at high Chunin level, or at least weak Jonin, considering that they can do shape manipulation." "And what about your grandmother?" She was the wife of the Uzukage. She has the power to live up to that reputation. Don't doubt my family, said Naruto. Uzu is gone, but the Uzumakis are strong. Whatever you say, Naruto-kun. We will be leaving in 2 days. Boom! An explosion went off outside. What the hell? As the group quickly made their way. Meanwhile, the combination of Itachi and Kakazu attack worked perfectly. It drew the shinobi's attention. You're absolutely sure, Itachi? Saucer, information is never wrong. 4 of the Biju are here, Itachi confirmed. We can't start the sealing process for 2 more years, and 2 of the holes here have to be sealed. It doesn't make much sense to me, said Kisame. But I guess orders are orders. Hey Hidan, who do you think can kill more people? You or me? I'm gonna kill them all, Hidan said as he pulled his sight. If you say so. Samehata exploded out of his bandage. But don't get mad when I kill more than you, said Kisame. The pair spring into battle as more ninja arrive to assess the situation. That was the scene the Jinjukis came upon. 4 S-rank Nukenin. The 4th one stayed back, not doing anything. As Naruto moved forward to the one person that was not moving. As he came at Itachi, Itachi simply jumped back and looked directly into Naruto's eyes. His eyes then shifted. Tsukuyomi, he said. Naruto found himself in a strange reality as he looked around. This is my world, my Tsukuyomi. A ability that is granted to me by the monkey to Sharingan. It is unbreakable, said Itachi. Time also flowed differently. As Naruto snarled, but he was unable to do anything. You cannot attack me here, Naruto. In here, I am God, Itachi said. Then let me get back to the real world, so I can kick your divine ass, said Naruto. I can't do that, because once again I am here to talk. While it is true our leader asks us to strike, since 4 Jinjukis are here. Once again I am here to prove that I mean you know ill will. And why should I believe anything you say? After all, you're the one that is sent to capture me, to remove the Kyuubi, to kill me, said Naruto. I mean it, Itachi said. You and I are similar than you think. No, said Naruto. When we return back out of this genjutsu back to the real world, you and I will continue our fight. I have cast a genjutsu on my allies to merely give a signal, and they will retreat without question. I may not even have to use it though. It is just for security measure. Why? What exactly do you want, said Naruto? Because you start to come around to the way I'm thinking. The idea of one person that can be more important than the village, that you hold your loyalty. No, I am not, I haven't. Konoha means everything to me, said Naruto. Would you kill Jiraiya if the Hokage order you to? Asked Itachi. What? She would Would you kill Tayuya if the Hokage ordered you to, Itachi said, not giving Naruto a chance to reply. No, I couldn't, he said. Would you kill the twins, if Kakashi asks? Would you kill your own family just because it's an order from your superior? Just because it's an order. Similar to me, to kill your family because you were given an order. As Naruto narrowed his eyes. Wait, what do you mean on orders? It's a secret. Only 3 people know. Danzo ordered me to kill my clan. He even faked documents to show that they were directly from the 3rd. That said my mission was sanctioned. The Uchihas were about to revolt and cause a massive battle within Konoha. A battle that would cause many to die. And my order was to kill each and every one of them to stop it from happening. Danzo, Naruto thought. As his fist clenched, he knew that name very well. And you know what I did, Naruto? I agreed. On the condition that my brother would be spared. Because Sasuke is more important to me than the village. But all Sasuke does now is hate you, said Naruto. And you did this for him. A problem I could not avoid, Itachi said. He always lived in my shadow. Because of our parents' favoritism towards me. I know I'm responsible for what happened, but it is something I can't change at the moment. In fact, I just want Sasuke to be happy. Something clicked in Naruto's mind. Danzo. He helped exterminate the Uzumaki clan during the Second Great Shinobi War. He was also in league with Orochimaru before and after his defection. Then that means he has 2 clans to answer for, Itachi said. Why are you telling me this? Because I have no reason to lie, Naruto. I want my brother to be happy. I want this sickness within Konoha roots to be extinguished without having to burn the tree down. As Naruto couldn't believe what was going on, so Itachi was loyal to Konoha. He was given an order to do this. But something made Naruto thought, wait, you said that 3 people knew. Before you told me, you're the first, Danzo is the second. Who else? Kakashi. Did Kakashi just magnetize himself for trouble? First, this was ridiculous. First it was the secret of his parents, the death of his teammates, and now the secret of the Uchiha massacre. What next? Did Kakashi knew how to do the Rasengan as well? Also, I see that you used some of the power I gave you. Not intentionally, said Naruto. I tore the seal off to defeat the Mizukage. Well, that would explain it. It's time we return to the real world. Don't let anything I say to you in here change your way of acting out there. Naruto nodded. As the Tsukuyomi broke, Naruto groaned as the pain of Tsukuyomi caught up to him. You bastard! Naruto went through hand signs as 4 arrows flew from his hand made from chakra. As they went straight towards the Akatsuki members, but Hidan was the only one to get hit. As he got distracted by the arrow, allowing a missing link to cut his head right off. Meanwhile, Naruto looked around as he was still hunched over from the illusion of the Tsukuyomi. He did not see something slam into his back, as his throat was then grabbed as he was smashed in the ground. Never lose sight of your enemy, Itachi said, as he vanished in a murder of crows. Get him, Itachi, Kisame roared, as he clashed blades with Killer Bee. I never see you fight seriously. You always fall back on those genjutsu of yours. 2 kunais buried themselves in Naruto's ribs as Itachi kicked him right in the face as he slammed into a stone wall. Itachi pivoted on his feet and slammed his heel into Naruto's skull once again as he left a sizable crater in the ground as his body slammed into it hard. Itachi Uchiha was a genjutsu master, but that didn't mean that he was weak in ninjutsu or taijutsu. As Naruto called for clones, the clones engaged Itachi long enough for Naruto to pull the kunais out of himself. Meanwhile, Tayuya slammed her hand on the ground as several large rocks rise out and sail themselves towards her opponent. Kakasu, using just his fists, broke through all 4 of them with ease. As the man fired off a lightning attack quickly and struck right into her, she was tossed back as she slammed into the earth. She healed rather quickly, but the pain was still coursing through her body. As he released twin streams of water out of his palm that soaked the area, slamming his hand on the ground, he released an electric pulse. Tayuya cried out in pain as she was electrocuted, as Kakasu was impaled through the back though by a Kumo shinobi. Kakasu cursed as one of his heart was taken out. He turned towards the man that growled as he slammed his fist into the man's face with so much force the man's head was knocked back, snapping his neck in the process. Meanwhile, Tayuya got up as she leaped away, as her body was being healed, but she had just been electrocuted. You're still up. That takes power. It is really clear that you were really one of Orochimaru's elites. How did you... He used to be a member of our organization. After Itachi nearly killed him, he left. That snake, Hidan and I, as you can see, were pretty hard to kill. Almost difficult as a Jinchuriki. Or maybe even more. Why don't we see about that? Itachi is making a ragdoll out of the Kyuubi brat. Hidan is taking down the Nibi. Kisame is playing sword fight with the Haxabi. So that means you fall right onto me. Fortunately, you got my interest. Due to being one of Orochimaru's former guards, you've amassed quite a bounty. I don't suppose you look at the latest bingo book. No, she said. Well, 200,000 Ryu alive, 100,000 Ryu dead. Tayuya, B-rank mutiny of the sound, presumed ally of Konoha. Well, that sounds like me, she said. That's a lot of money, she thought to herself. Orochimaru really want me back that badly. Apparently so, as she said the last part out loud. But it doesn't matter. You'll be going back dead, said Kakazu. Sorry, but I'm not planning on coming with you, today or ever. Pity. Still, I suppose it's only right that money needs to be earned, said Kakazu, as he flashed through hand sign at speed that surprised her. Searing migraine. As he released a fire, she quickly raised a giant wall. She had to move back as the wall was burnt. She was lucky that she didn't get hit. What the hell? That is what happened when you live for 100 years, said Kakazu, as he started to march towards her. Meanwhile, Itachi was more skilled in Kinjutsu with a single kunai than Naruto was with his giant fox. He knew that he never really studied any Kinjutsu style or anything like that. He's morely a Russian fighter with brutal strength. But what was that statement about the bigger always being better? And here Itachi was proving him wrong. With just one knife, Itachi was strong enough to keep him at bay. When he fought Killer Bee and Yagura, he was able to hold them off. This level of strength was ridiculous. But he knew that Itachi would be joined for a retreat soon enough. That is why he hadn't called on the Kyuubi's power. More and more ninjas started to arrive. And Jiraiya popped up, along with Raikage. Itachi closed his eyes as he activated the fail-safe. Retreat, he called out. The three Akatsuki members stopped. As they start to move back. We will meet again, Naruto, Itachi said, as he burst into a flock of crows and made his way off. Miles away, Itachi reappeared as he had a pendant around his neck. Opening it, inside, there was a picture of his genuine team. And on the other side, there was a picture of a girl, a Uchiha that he had saved a long time ago. During the Kyuubi attack, a girl, picture that he still carried with him till this day. She had thanked him before she died in his arms. She was the first victim of the Uchiha massacre. Her name was Izumi. He would not let her sacrifice go up in vain. That is why he strengthened his heart. That is why he carried out with the entire extinction of the clan and left Sasuke behind. What Itachi did not see as he clutched onto the pendant was a masked figure watching him a couple miles away. As a masked figure pulled a kunai and he vanished. Time skip. What did you see? Pain asks. Four figures stood alone in a room. The rain was pouring outside. Walls of cold metal surrounding them. This was a hidden rain, the base of operation of the Akatsuki. Pain, within his Deva path, stood with Konan at his side. In front of them were only two ninja. One of them was a man wearing a mask, with only the right eye being shown. There was a single circle on the mask. Beside him was a woman, as her mask had two eye holes revealed. The eyes that were underneath as Pain could see them on full display. Yes, both of them, including the man and the woman, had the Sharingan. As Pain looked at them, he was praying. To what, to who, I don't know. All the same, he was praying, the woman said. The man was known as Toby. And the woman beside him, that Pain presumed to be his child, her name was Maya. While Toby mask was a orange swirl, Maya mask was a traditional red and white of the Uchiha. Her dark hairs went back to her shoulders, but you couldn't tell her identity from that, and she had pale skin. It was quite frustrating to not know who she is. After all, Pain declared himself as a god, and to not know someone's identity was rather pathetic. Did he sense you? Toby asked. Not a chance. Still, something is off. Displays like that aren't prone to be seen. Well, given that he hasn't done something like that since the last 6 years. She was referring to the Uchiha massacre. He's always been a little more self-controlled than that. And what did you see of the battle? Well, Hidan was getting beaten badly. Not that we could expect much from him, overconfident as he is. Kisame is an even match for the Hatsubi, and Kakazu for the standby. Kakazu will be upset though, since he lost his lightning heart. And the Kyuubi, said Pain. Itachi demolished him with pure taijutsu after casting the Tsukuyomi. Wait, he survived the Tsukuyomi and continued fighting with his mind intact, Toby asked. As he knew that most people would be killed or sent into a coma, some of them that woke up got physical and psychological damage. Despite of the traumatic event that they went through, they ended up dying. I was surprised as well, the girl said. It seems that the Kyuubi is more resilient than all of his brethren. That will be all, Maya, said Pain. You may leave us. She nodded as she vanished into a Kamui. We will hold back on gauging the other Jinchuki's powers and wait for the next 2 years, said Toby. Raise our price a little, so we're not completely offset by the money we raised before now. But still, under the competitive rate, Kakazu will like that. Time skip. How long have you been here? Long enough for you to have noticed me, Itachi-kun, said Maya. Itachi turned towards her, his eyes looking cold. Do not call me that. Only one girl was allowed to call me that. And she's dead. I killed her myself. Yes, Itachi-kun. We all know about your sob story. Last chance. Before I kill another Sharingan wheeler. Okay, sorry, said Maya. I'll be a good girl. Please, don't kill me. She was overdoing it on purpose. Just like Toby. Why do you do it, he asks. The mask, the antics, everything. I cannot figure it out. Well, he could figure it out. Because there's only two explanations. Either he passed over someone in the massacre, or she was actually Toby's daughter. But neither of those options made any sense because Toby didn't look like he could be older than 30, and Maya had declared that she was older than him when they met. According to herself, she was 21 and he was 18. And Itachi knew for a fact no 9-year-old boy had ever saw her a child, so she couldn't be Toby's daughter. I do it because I don't want people to know who I am. Especially you, Itachi-kun. I want you to get eaten up by the curiosity so much you want to rip off my mask. And then we can fall in love and kiss. And then you can throw me onto a bed and make me scream your name. And she collapsed into a giga fit. Itachi-sama, what can your lovely Maya do for you, she said. Itachi was completely silent. You're no fun to tease, she said, the huff. Thank you. I'll take pride in that. Now, I watched their battle. Why did you let them go? Before she could blink, she was tackled down to the ground and a kunai was pressed up against her throat. But she didn't look alarmed at all. Don't worry. I won't tell Toby about it, she said. Without warning, she drew him into the Tsukuyomi, a different space-time dimension. Say whatever you want to say in here, Itachi-kun, she said. I don't trust Toby or you, for a matter of fact, said Itachi. We're all S-rank criminals, Itachi-kun, she said. Trust is something to give to friends or loved ones, not work associates. But for what it is worth, I do trust you, she said. I trust you to do what is right for our home like you always have. That night, Toby saved my life. I already forgave you a long time ago. I love you too much to hate you, she said. So he was right then. He did not miss anyone in the massacre. Then, Itachi said, would you trust me now, Itachi-kun, she said, as she unclipped the mask. Itachi stepped back in pure shock, as he fell to his knees. Couldn't believe in what he was seeing. Time skip. Who were they? Said Jiraiya. A Genin team. But a Jonin sensei said, hey, as he lowered his head at the memory. Good kids. A terrible fate. I sent them on a C-rank mission a month ago to the Hidden Rain. They were supposed to come back last week. When they did not, I thought that they had been delayed for a few days. I never knew that the mission went that poorly. I didn't know that they were killed. And they could have been used like that. It seems that they were captured and tortured for information. As Naruto lowered his head as he remembered his first mission with Zabuza. Tayuya placed a hand on his shoulder. Are you okay? She said. Yeah, I'm fine. Nothing but my pride is hurt, honestly. To be fair, his ego had taken a rather large blow. After all, he had both halves of the cube inside of him. Shouldn't he be stronger than before? He did not understand it. Maybe that was the difference between a natural, born talent and someone who had worked for their strength. Itachi had played nice in the Tsukuyomi, but his attacks upon his return back out had been monstrous. Just using taijutsu, he turned Naruto into his own punching bag. He hadn't enjoyed the sensation, but now, he could heal his damage without any scars remaining, and in seconds as well, because of the other half of the Kyuubi. Are you sure, Pissbrain? I mean, but Naruto didn't listen to the last part. He has never been beaten that thoroughly before. He will have to get a lot stronger to even match up to Itachi. He asked a question, hey, is it alright that we stay here this long, he said. As Jiraiya and A turned towards him. What do you mean? This has been a great opportunity to spend time with you all and forge a better alliance with Konoha, said A. No, I mean, there are 4 of us here, said Naruto. The Akatsuki tried to capture us, even though they can't seal us away. Because of that, I doubt they just showed up to check on how powerful we were. So it's better if we don't stay here for much longer to avoid something like that happening again. There is strength in numbers, Naruto-kun. We beat them this time, so there's no reason to say that we won't beat them next time, said Yujito. Well, we didn't actually win though, said Tayuya. They retreated. Either the chakra pouring their jutsu run out, or they saw Birch's sensei and the Raikage coming, and they realized they're going to be out of their league. But they have also showed that you're not above attacking Hidden Village, if that is what it takes to capture Jinchuriki. And I don't want to put any more innocent people at risk. Innocent people died today because we were here. Whether I like it or not, their blood, or in my hands. No, they chose to defend you, their actions were gone through. Don't blame yourself, that is bad on your health, said Killer B. Even so, as someone who wants to be a Hokage one day, I could never accept something like this happening in Konoha. And if I can't accept it there, I will not accept it here. I'm sorry for the trouble that we have caused. We'll be leaving soon, he said. Time skip. Did you really mean what you said? About leaving, asked Tayuya. Yeah. I can't stand the idea of people putting themselves in danger because of me, said Naruto. Hell, being a Newton is easy. You just have to look out for yourself. But being a village ninja, you have to look out for everyone else as well. Their deaths weren't your fault, she said, as she held him. As she pulled his head down, as he was resting on her shoulder. They chose to fight for their village. It was being attacked. You would have done the same thing, and the ninjas back at Konoha would have done the same thing as well. That was true. When Konoha was attacked, he had rushed in to face off against the greatest threat, and that was the Ichibai, who would have wiped out the village. I know, but they still feel like they died because we're here, because I insisted that we come here. What would the Kage do in this situation then? Asked Tayuya. They will have to move on from it. The cost of a few lives, even several high-profile deaths, is less important than making sure the village continue running safely. You have to put it behind you. The Shinobi rule dictate that you should never abandon your mission, no matter what. And a Kage constant mission is to secure the safety and the survival of his or her village, said Naruto. So what does that tell you, piss for brain, she said. It tells me that I'm not ready to be Hokage, and I might never be. That was not what she was expected as the words startled her a bit. I don't want to become that callous, having to send people on lethal missions and be responsible when they don't come back alive. The life of a ninja is death, she whispered in his ear as she was still holding him in a warm hug. You throw yourself into lethal situations on purpose most of the time. Why? Do you say that others aren't allowed to do the same, like you do? Because the Hokage is supposed to protect Konoha, not order its people to die. That was a fair point she had to admit. It seems like he was not ready for the position. Well, for now. That softness in his heart would make him a kind leader one day. Well, if he didn't get taken out of him. I talked to Jiraiya. We're gonna leave tomorrow and head to the sand, said Naruto. Okay, she said. Were you gonna sleep early? Yeah, he said. As he got into the bed, she followed suit, one arm around him as she rested her head on his chest. I love you, Piss for Brain, she said. I love you too, Tayuya, he said to her, as the both of them fell asleep. Time skip. Are you really sure you want to leave? Yujito asked. She, Killer Bee, and A were at the west gate of Komo, along with the bodyguards of A. That was she and Darui. Yeah, don't worry. Maybe we'll see you again someday, said Naruto. It better be soon or you will listen to my tune from morning to night to noon, said Killer Bee, as a look of horror came on Tayuya's face. Yeah, hell no, she said. Blasphemy against my rap that would be. You better not rap the rhyme of the Killer Bee. You will always be welcome back here. I would take my idiot brother mouth closed if I have to, said A. After saying their goodbyes, Jiraiya, Tayuya, and the four Uzumakis headed southwest towards the hidden sand, traveling at a harsh pace. It took them a week as they made their way towards the two mighty stone walls. Business, the guard at the gate said. Meeting with the Kazekage, Jiraiya said. It wasn't strictly truth because there was no meeting set, but they did come to talk to him. Really? That's different, seeing that most people are here for tuning exams at the moment. Jiraiya almost forgot. Yes, the sand should be hosting this time around. You guys might even see some of your friends. We're in the month's grace period before the final exam begin. Still a couple of weeks left. Your passports check out. You're all free to go in. Should I send a message ahead for the Kazekage to expect you? No need, said Jiraiya. Something tell me that he already know that we're here. Just a few streets on the road Gar was walking, as he was talking to some of the street vendors. As he caught sight of them, my friends, he said, welcome to the sand. As he looked over them, there was a few more than he remembered. Did Tayuya mother find you? and force you to have children. Naruto paused, his mind almost shutting down. Did Gar just make a joke? We should talk in your office, said Jiraiya. Obru, while flattered by the fact that the Kazekage think that she looked that young to be Tayuya's mother, well, she indeed looked that young, as her body was kept, well, in a frozen state by the chocolate that was circulating through the labyrinth. Brother Naruto isn't our dad, said Rei. He was just joking, said Naruto. Yeah, he was joking, Naruto thought to himself. Yeah, easy sis, it was just a joke. Don't take it for a miss, said Kuga. It was then that Tayuya and Naruto completely stopped, as they turned towards the boy. What the hell was going on? Did he just rap? And Gaara just made a joke. As Naruto wondered what the hell was going on with the world. Was the apocalypse coming or something? Was the world about to end? Meanwhile, at Konoha. I don't think I'll read this book today, said Kakashi. I feel like I just want to take a nice, good walk. As he started to make his way around the village, taking in the fresh air. It seemed that the world was really coming to an end. Time skip. So, that's the current situation, said Jiraiya. He just spent the last minute explaining the situation since he departed Kiri, with the other 5 chipping in every now and then. Gaara was pretty also amused by the way Kuga and Rei view Naruto. To them, he could do no wrong. A laid-back, older brother compared to the harsh taskmaster that was Obru. Also, Naruto, some of your friends had made to the finals. Your old team is even competing, and your spot had been filled by a girl called Tenten. I remember her calling you her brother during the exams. We have another big sister? Rei asks. Big brother Naruto, how could you hide that from us, said Kuga. She's not actually related to me. We lived together as children before she was adopted by G.I. Higurashi. That old man could only take one of us, and I made him take her instead of me. Wait, G.I.? As in the G.I. clan, asked Obru. As far as I know, he's the only one left. Obachan, said Naruto. Well, aside from Tenten-chan. Why, is there something wrong? We'll talk later, she said. As Naruto felt a bit uneasy, what was exactly going on? Okay, that's good to know. Is anyone else from Konoha in the tournament? No, however, we do have shinobis from Kuma and Kira participating, so the Raikage and Mizukage should arrive in 2 weeks. As Naruto started to laugh. What is so funny? Gaara asks. Oh, well, it's simple. Mei and Gaara sitting in a tree. Gaara-san came out as Naruto jumped back, as he kept on singing, dodging Gaara-san that was coming at him, laughing the entire time. Are you done? Gaara asks. While it's true I enjoy her company, you don't have to be so vulgar, said Jiraiya. Obnoxious, said Obru. Infuriating, said Tayuya. So are you guys really not siding with me, said Naruto. As he looked at all of them, as he gave my deadpan look, he held on to his chest. Betrayal, he said. Time skip. So you said you want to talk? Yes, said Obru. As Naruto sat down. This is about Tenten and Higurashi-san, isn't it? Their clan. Yes, Obru said. What about it, said Naruto? Their history. And the Uzumakis. You know the legend of the Sage of Six Paths. Well, how could he not? The myth was famous throughout the world. His twin sons were the ancestors of the Senju and Uchiha clan, with the Hyugabina offshot caused by the Sharingan mutation into the Byakugan. What does that have to do with anything, he asks. It doesn't. However, there was another legend that said the Sage of Six Paths had an older brother, one, who was claimed by 5 families. The Kumru of the Hidden Stone, the Senshi of Kiri, the Gobaru of the Sun, and the Gi of Konoha, and our own Uzumaki clan. Now what can you tell me about those 5 clans, she asks. I'd never heard of the first 3. Did they get wiped out? Higurashi is the last of his clan, and the Uzumakis were slaughtered. So that would fit the pattern, said Naruto. That's right, all 5 clans were powerful in different right, while the Sage of Six Paths had many different utilize of chakra. His brother, Line, inherit a master over each of the 5 arts. The Kimuru were feared for their genjutsu ability. The Zeichi, they were master assassins. The Gobaru had enough chakra that they did not even need hand signs to make jutsu. They had that much control of their power. The Uzumakis were master overflowing jutsu, and Higurashi, they were known to have founded all the samurais in Tannokuni, but the branch of their family died out long ago. They were masters of Kenjutsu. They were able to forge weapons beyond any normal man. That sword you have was made by the last member and corrupted by the Kyuubi influence. I can tell by just looking at it. You clearly seem familiar with the man. Did you ever watch him forge? Yeah, said Naruto. Did he sing a song while doing it? Naruto was puzzled by that, but he chanted what the man said. Watch the spears when the stars climb high. Watch the spears when the suns climb low. The sword on his back started to hum, as it seemed like they were resonating with the words that he spoke. Watch the spears who fear to die. Watch the spears, no one I know. Both half of the Kyuubi inside him roared, and Naruto saw in his mind an ancient battlefield. A man dressed in armor, with a cloth over his head. He was on top of the Kyuubi, as he crashed into the enemy ranks. He laughed as his demonic mouth roared as he fought using his spear. He defeated the others with his bare hand. 3 swords are on his back, there was a satchel on his waist with small knife around them. As the vision faded, what the hell was that? Said Naruto. Did something happen? Aburo said. I didn't feel anything. No. Just the Kyuubi reacted. Those words were designed as a communication for the chakra of the Bijus. Something for the Jinchurikis, just in case they were on a rampage, just in case they lost control. But if it is before the stage of 6th path, how are their Jinchurikis? Sealing is an art older than ninjutsu. Before chakra was discovered, only performed by groups of incredibly strong priests. Everything that she said, everything that she told him, just brought more questions in his mind. He would have to ask the Kyuubi about it later, to find out if this was, well, the truth, or just an ancient myth. Time skip, as Naruto snuck up on them. He wrapped his arms around all of them, as he now were taller than all of them, including Sasuke. So I heard that you 3 tried to compete without me, huh? Naruto, all 3 of them said at once. What are you doing here? Said Sakura as Naruto stepped back as they turned. Come on, an old teammate can't swing by. Cheering his friends on. Good job, by the way. Kakashi Sensei did a better job teaching you since I left. Dad has been helping me with my blade work. He said that he can hardly tell that I'm adopted, said Tenten. Is he here? Naruto asked. Yeah, you should come see him later. I'm sure he wants to know how that sword has been working for you. Or stay away, said Sakura. I want to know if the flute has been working as good as we hope. Right here, Tayuya said as she released the genjutsu as he placed her on herself to be invisible. It plays as wonderful as ever. I can't thank you enough. That's great, Sakura said. So, Naruto, care to fill us in on what happened since you left? You had no contact with the village as far as I know. Sure. Why not make a meal out of it? I swiped Ursane's checkbook while he was not looking. His treat, said Naruto. You shouldn't do that so often, Pistol Brains, or else he's gonna find out. Hey, this is the 5th or 6th time I've done it. Besides, have you seen how much money he has in it? He can afford it, don't worry. Not with your stomach, said Tayuya. As Naruto's stomach grumbled at that moment, he rubbed the back of his head as he laughed. Time skip. They made their way to the restaurant as they ate. As they had talked to each other, they wouldn't reveal Danzo and the things that he has done. And Naruto wouldn't tell Sasuke about Itachi just yet. You fought in Kyo Rebellion? Said Tenten as she was surprised. Okay, at least that is believable, said Sakura. But do you really think that we believe that you were the one that killed Mizukage? She asked. That's a tall tale, even for you, Naruto, she said. Alright then, ask Mei-chan when she get here, since you clearly won't take her word for it. But you have to get her separated from Gaara first. One last thing, said Sasuke. You said that you fought Itachi. It wasn't really a fight. It is more like he kicked my ass so badly, I'm still hurting. All he did was use taijutsu on some kunai, and the bastard could have killed me. It felt like he was toying with me, and that shit really pissed me off. Sasuke knew the feeling very well. No amount of training ever put him near his brother. It was frustrating even though Sasuke was naturally talented as well. He worked hard to reach the strength that he had. And yet he felt that gap between them hadn't shrunk at all. It was like every step he walked forward, Itachi took 3 steps forward as well. I meant what I said at the Valley of the End, Sasuke said. You're gonna train with me until I'm certain I can kill him. Naruto smirked at that. You know me, Sasuke. I never go back on my word, he said. Time skip. I feel like I'm at a standstill, Ursanin. How comes? Well, what have we really done in the last 6 months? Ever since we left the rebellion in Kira, said Naruto. Jiraiya was a bit taken back, but he understands Naruto's notion. The fact that Naruto can go up against Jonin level shinobis and protect himself was a good boost, but the fact that Akatsuki was still after him made up of S-rank criminals, and Itachi was his hunter. Still bugged about Itachi? A little, yeah, said Naruto. Don't worry about it too much, Jiraiya said. That man is a freak of nature. So am I. And he's after me. I have to beat him, or at least outlast him somehow. With those eyes of his, it is real difficult to beat him, said Jiraiya. I only have 2 more things to teach you. Fuinjutsu. We haven't reached that far, even though you've advanced in the subject. And Senjutsu. It's a really lethal procedure. There's only a 30% survival rate. Senjutsu, said Naruto. You know I'm called the Toad Sannin for a reason, right? The toads that we summon, they can teach us how to gather nature energy, which increase everything from your speed to your strength to your ninjutsu. Jiraiya, said Naruto. The fact that Naruto used his real name made it show how serious he was. Of course I'll teach you, Jiraiya said. It will be difficult, but you're a strong kid, and I have faith that you will make it out. Just for the record though, you might want to put away your Uzi headband and start wearing your Konoha headband once again. I know how much it means to you. Yeah, gotcha, said Naruto. I'll think about it, he said, as the Uzumaki headband was still on his forehead. And what about when Tsunade sees it once she gets here? She's part Uzumaki. She'll be on my side, said Naruto. That sounded rather confident for a boy who only knows Tsunade for 2 years now, compared to Jiraiya who knew her for over 40 years now. And from his past events, he knew that she never chose family. Her brother had died. Her lover had died. She abandoned her son. She left behind her grandson for unknown, reasons. She chose herself. It wasn't good or honest, but it made her quite predictable. Still, Jiraiya had held off of teaching Naruto Senjutsu for a reason. If he had died under his tutelage of teaching Senjutsu, it would be on his head, and it would damage everything, and not only would it make him feel depressed, it would damage his relationship with Kakashi and the upper faction of Konoha that he speaks for. The Anvu, most of them were loyal to Tsunade, while Donzo didn't have anything in Naruto's life or death situation. He would surely benefit from Jiraiya being, known as the one that made Naruto die. With one Sannin rogue and the other one being dishonored, it will be perfect for him to completely dismantle Tsunade regime. And something like that could make him start a coup d'etat. And not even a secret one, something public. Not to mention how Tsunade would feel over Naruto's death. It would surely send her into a backslide of drinking. So, no matter how hard the training was, he have to pull through it. So when do we start, Naruto asks? But guys, be in subscribe right here. If you want to see the next part, so what to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification say posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also, stay tuned for the rest of the what ifs coming your way. And I hope you guys enjoy each and every one of them. So yeah, I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace.